Okay, so let's move on to another type of blending. So before I do that, I actually want to organize this a little bit. So let's move this global tiling here. And what I can do is actually select all the nodes that I want, press C to comment, and I can call this like global parameters. All right. And I can just go ahead and put this one, call layer 1. All right. I can go here as well and call it layer 2. And I can move this one over here. And I can actually call it like, let's just call it noise-based blending. You can even change the colors here just to have like a, like something like it's more differentiation between your layers. So you can add a name rewrote declaration node, name rewrote, call it noise based blend, and we can go here to noise based blend and connect this one as well. All right, so now that we have this, we can even move this here. We can add a third layer. So let's go ahead and add a third one. Let's actually copy this because we won't change anything here. And let's choose our third texture. So I'm between like this rocky cliff and this rocky ground. I want to go for the rocky cliff to see how it looks like. So I'm gonna go ahead and create my mask just like we did before. Right click, export texture graph. And now we're gonna go for my rocky cliff. Displacement we're gonna put here. Roughness we're gonna put here. And ambient occlusion we're gonna put here. Just like that, we're gonna hit export. And now we have our texture. We can just drag it here, move it, and change the name for something that we can read. So let's go ahead and put mask. Double click on this as well. We don't need this anymore. Change the compression settings to mask. Save it. All right, so now we have our new material. Grab all of these and right click, convert to virtual texture. Excellent. So now we just need to drag this. So this is gonna be my albedo. Convert to texture object, convert to parameter. Layer 3 albedo. Gonna do the same for this one. Convert to parameter, layer 3 mask. You can see how useful our function is becoming by not having to redo everything again. So convert to texture object, convert to parameter, L3 normal. And now that we have this, you can just go ahead and change the mask. Go ahead, and that's our normal, our new texture. So let's go ahead and create a new mask. I'm gonna go to show you a different type of blending. We talk about the texture-based blending, la noise. We talk about the slope. Talk about the height. So noise, we already saw it. Let's go ahead and talk about a little bit about the slope. So for the slope, what we want to do is to actually create a new node called slope mask. And as always, I'm gonna clamp this. And I'm gonna connect it to the base color. And by the way, you can just right click and connect to base color if you want. You don't need to drag all the way around there. So hit apply. And I will show you how this looks like. So what's happening here is that we're having a slope mask. And based on the angle of this, we are changing the values. So let's change a little bit the tangent normal, the slope angle, the fall of power, and the chip contrast. So the slope angle, it's gonna be a vector tree. So hold a V and click, create a vector tree and call it slope angle. By default, it's going to be a value of 1. This slope angle, what it's going to do, is going to give us the direction where the mask is going to be. So for example, if let me just drag an object here, go to the green plus icon, let's go to the cylinder. And we can apply this material here as well to the cylinder. Okay, you can see that as I rotate this, the slope always stay on top. Okay, and if I change the material instance of this, I can go ahead and change the slope angle. So for example, let's put 1 here, and let's just change it to the red value. What you are seeing here is actually the slope is changing into this direction, right? So actually we're changing we need to go for the instance. There you go. You see the X value here is going into this direction. You can also notice by going into the world, here, the X value is here. If I go for green, a value of 1 and 0, you will see that the green comes from this direction. So you can see where I'm going with this. So I can go, I can even go both directions like this. I can even go like negative, like if I want it, like -1 and -1 to have like the opposite effect. So it's like coming from this direction. So I'm gonna leave it like that. So the next thing I need to do is to change the fall of power and the chip contrast. So let's take a look at that. Fall of power, click 1. Slope fall off. And let's copy and paste and call it slope contrast. So for contrast, we're gonna go for 1. For fall off, we're gonna go for 1 as well. Nothing will change that much. But what you will notice is that it's actually having more contrast, which is what we want. So if we go here to our, let's go ahead and open up our material instance. And let's go for contrast like fall off. If we increase the fall off, you will see that you're actually having less coverage. If we decrease the fall off, you have more coverage. Also the contrast, you can increase the contrast and you will see that you have a much sharper transition or a much smoother transition. So I can just go for something like this. You can go for 1 and the fall off, like I could leave it like that for now. I can play with that in the future, but for now I think this is working quite well. So what I want to do is to actually add more details to this. We're gonna do it in the next video.